One player who just keeps getting better and better is Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, keeps showing up. Defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz talked about JOK's role and how it's expanding in this defense.
I would say this about JOK, where he's getting more and more involved in all our packages. His step as a young player was sort of mastering his own position first. And, he had a little bit of ups and downs, but he was making good progress. He's played at a really high level the last month or so. And we've made a big point to try to get him more on those things. It's puts more on his plate, having to do techniques that he hasn't done before, lead the huddle, do those kind of things that he hasn't done before. But, Sione did a good job on that play. Sione did exactly what he was supposed to do, and that's generally been Anthony Walker's position. And then a short week, well, not a short week, but when AWOL couldn't play before the game, it's probably a little bit too late to get Jeremiah in that role. But you're going to see Jeremiah in some of those third down roles. It's time for him not to leave the field for us. You know what I mean? And it's gonna be a little bit more ask of him. And but he's up for it.
And you can tell Jim Schwartz has a plan for the next level of JOK. What have you seen from him this year?
Oh, I've seen a dude who's been making a ton of plays at that linebacker position, and I think Jim Schwartz is like, all right. I think he even said it in the press conference where he's like, hey, man, it's time for JOK to not leave the field. Like, I don't know if he's going to be the Mike, but he's going to be something on this team because they think he's that level of playmaker, especially when you have this level of defensive line play around him. It allows him to be more free. So we might just be seeing the beginning of JOK, Dave. Like once they start getting him on the field every play, that's when you can start comparing him to the Roquan Smiths and the Fred Warners of the world. Because right before this, he's kind of just been asked to be a role player. Where there's times where he's in the game plan, he's not in the game plan. Now this seems like there's a serious commitment to making sure that JOK is an every down player for this team, and that's when he can start really having a great impact to this team and add his name to Miles and Denzel when we talk about this team as far as like, hey, the best players on the defense.